NBA, Draft Underdog becomes basketball's ultimate lockdown star. Episode 121. The Knicks hosted the Orlando Magic the following day. The Magic now rank high in the East and second in the league. And one win next to the Cavaliers. The one-star lineup is still powerful this season. Last season, they hit the Cavaliers. Successfully advanced to the finals. And Howard, the core of the Magic, is also the hottest player in the league today. Lin Dong, who knows everything about the afterlife, said that Howard is the last traditional strong center. For the Knicks, the Magic are by far the strongest opponents. How to limit Howard has become the main problem for the Knicks. In the afternoon, the team practiced tactics together. Among them, how to defend Howard is the focus of this training. The Knicks' interior linemen are now mainly four such as UAE, Dior, Jeffries, and Hill. But physically, no one can limit Howard. Look at the entire union, of course. Nor is any inside player able to defend Howard alone. Therefore, in the face of the Magic, almost two people have to wrap Howard. But, in this way, Howard will pass to the outside. The other four players on the Magic team all have three-point shooting capabilities. Therefore, unless the other four people feel bad, it is not a small problem to deal with Magic. Last year's Lakers were able to easily defeat the Magic. Mainly because the Lakers have three towers on the inside. Defend Howard, try to defend alone, if you can't prevent it, you will foul, but the foul is decisive, don't let him achieve 2+1. If the outside player breaks through the inside line, he also breaks through the decisive point, try to have physical contact with Howard, understand what I mean. It's to make him foul. Howard's inaccurate free throws are a well-known secret in the league. It is also a trick that other teams use against Howard. Foul, let him make a free throw. D'Antoni emphasized the defensive strategy over and over again. And then practice it over and over again. Although defending Howard is the key to winning the game. But the players on the outside of the Magic team are also very capable. Especially Seydou Tekeglu, Rashad Lewis. Excellent offensive ability, but also the ability to organize offensive. Therefore, defending these two is also key. Quick, run. Assist defense, won't it? Shot. Such a good opportunity, don't make a move, waiting for others to come and cover you? Today's D'Antoni is exceptionally harsh. Almost everyone except Lin Dong was scolded. Not scolding Lin Dong is not because of Lin Dong's identity, but because Lin Dong has performed very well in all aspects. Especially after training with Nash, Lin Dong has a lot of new understanding of playing. There is a feeling of being in God's perspective and controlling players in 2K to play games. Lin Dong, did you say that Schweider was not in a good mood today? Why is it so temperamental? Lin Dong shook his head. I don't know, maybe I want to win this game too much. It's possible. We're now 11 wins in a row and he definitely wants to keep that streak going, Nate guessed. It's possible, hurry up and continue training. Otherwise, you will be scolded again. Lin Dong said a few words, and then plunged into training again. In general, the intensity is not very large. Because there is a race at night, it is only a matter of running position. But Lin Dong also seemed to sense that something was wrong. Teammates often miss the position. When retreating, there are often situations that are not in place. However, he didn't think much about it either. He is now looking forward to the game against the Magic. Face off against such a powerful opponent as Warcraft. Just thinking about it, Lin Dong could feel the blood rolling in his body. At the end of the training session, D'Antoni gathered it all. But the face is very ugly. I'm a little disappointed by your state today, and I don't see any positivity at all. I don't want you to show me this state in the middle of the game. Understand? The last sentence, D'Antoni almost roared. You can see that he is very dissatisfied with the performance of today's players. After that, he left the training venue. The other players also dispersed, and Lin Dong himself came to the video room of the stadium. Play the Magic game. Although the coach has taken everyone to see it before. But Lin Dong felt that it was not enough. In the past, before each match, Lin Dong would watch a lot of videos of his opponents in his home. But these days, Lin Dong has little time because he is busy with investment and endorsements. It has to be said that Howard's interior deterrent is too strong. Even if he is as strong as James, he cannot take advantage of him. No wonder some people say that Howard at this time can be replaced by James. Compared to his offense, the defense of Warcraft is the most important thing for the Magic. And Lin Dong's purpose in watching the video is also clear, that is, to find Howard's shortcomings. If you take advantage of the defensive shortcomings, find good offensive opportunities. And then how can it cause Howard to foul? After all, thinking about how to defend him and knock him off the field is more effective. Episode 122. Amid the cheers of the fans, players from both sides appeared one after another. Howard burst into laughter and jumped out of the players' tunnel. On the Knicks side, Lin Dong's appearance once again brought the atmosphere of the scene to a climax. "Come on! Lin Dong! Lin Dong! Lin Dong!" Countless fans shouted Lin Dong's name. Howard was still smiling and looking around at the fans. This kid is quite popular. The game is about to start, and the managers of both sides make the final tactical arrangements. You must remember the things laid out before the game. Decisive play, decisive shooting, decisive fouls, understand? If anyone is still in the same state as when they were training, they will give me the end immediately. D'Antoni is also stressing the attitude of the players. One by one, they nodded in response. The starters enter, and the game is about to begin. Howard swaggered onto the court, laughing and revealing a row of bright white teeth. Howard seems to be in a good mood today, and seems to be full of confidence in this game. This confidence is also normal based on the current record of both teams. After all, the Magic are now second in the league, and the Knicks have not yet crossed the threshold of the playoffs. But if the Knicks can win this game, they will overtake the 8th-placed Heat and move up to 8th. That's true, but it's very difficult to fight in the face of Magic. Even if they have achieved 11 consecutive wins, their overall strength is still a lot worse than Magic. There is no inside line on the Knicks side to match Howard, and you can't limit Warcraft without two people. Let's see how they deal with it. The two teams of the live commentary team conducted a little simple analysis. The starters on both sides have all come on, so let's talk about the list of both sides. On the Magic side, point guard Ralph Alston, quarterback Michael Pietras, small forward Sadou Tekeglu, power forward Rashad Lewis, center Howard. Knicks starting point guard Curry, quarterback Lin Dong, small forward Gallinari, power forward UAE, center Dior. Howard and the UAE jumped the ball, Howard jumped to the ball, and the Magic made the first offense. Street King Alston dribbled through the half. He is the most capable player on the Magic team to pass the ball to Howard. He dribbles the ball at the top of the arc organization. At this point, Howard began to ask for the ball on the inside. Dior used almost all his strength to fight Howard. But the two of them are not a great at all. Howard blocked his body with one hand and held the ball high with the other. Alston quickly passes the ball into the hands of Warcraft. Boom. As soon as the Warcraft received the ball, it immediately screamed back. Dior almost didn't stand firmly on his feet and fell down. Although it did not fall, it has made a large space for Howard. Easy hook hand hit. So relaxed. Dior and Howard are not players of any rank at all, and they both feel a bit of a bully. You don't want Dio. The Alliance can't find a person who can single-handedly defend against Warcraft. The power is too strong. It depends on when the Knicks choose the bag. If it is not wrapped, there will be no bones left for Dior to be eaten by Warcraft. The fans were also worried. If the opponent has a strong outside player, they don't worry much. After all, there is Lin Dong. But with a center like Howard, the Knicks really no one can get right. This game is tough for the Knicks. No one can prevent Howard. This ball, Howard played too easily, just bumped, it created space to attack. I'm so worried. 11 consecutive wins won't be so broken in this game. Even if you lose, you can't help it. After all, the opponent is the Magic. Back at the game, Curry was organized at the top. Lin Dong and Gallinari made cross cover. The former had a chance, and Lin Dong's advantage in facing Pietras was quite obvious. So when the opportunity came out, he also attacked very decisively. Received the ball, direct three-point shot. But the basketball hit the neck of the basket. Fortunately, the basketball happened to land above the UAE. UAE took the rebound. At this time, because Tekeglu, who was defending Gallinari, rushed to grab the rebound, it caused Gallinari to have an empty space. United immediately passed the ball over. Gallinari was already a good shot when he received the ball, but he didn't shoot. Just clicked the player who was defending. Then there was the ball passed to Curry. Curry didn't shoot the ball either. Instead, it was directly and quickly transmitted to Lin Dong's hand. Lin Dong took the ball and frowned. This ball has already appeared a chance, why not shoot? But he didn't think much about it. Another three-point shot. Basketball strikes iron again. This time, Howard squeezed the two men and took the rebound from the crowd. Then make a quick pass to Alston to launch a fast attack. Alston disguised with a crotch and went straight past Curry. Then another large-scale transfer was given to Tekeglu, who had already fallen by this time. The latter catches the ball and goes straight around the ball to pass Gallinari. Backhand layup. Episode 123. The opening game was beaten 4-0, which is really nothing. In the game, it can often appear. But Lin Dong felt a little wrong. Because the Knicks just had a problem with defense, the return defense is not in place. And it's all too easy. This is not the level they should normally be. The game continued with the Knicks attacking. Curry dribbled the ball at the top of the arc, and Lin Dong ran out from the bottom corner to prepare to catch the ball. Curry was also the first to pass the ball. However, Alston is quick-eyed. Cut the ball away directly at the moment Curry passes the ball. Then launch a quick attack. Despite Curry's hot pursuit, Alston scored the ball. 6-0. Another counterattack quick attack, the Magic opened with a 6-0. The Magic are still a little more experienced, and the Knicks are a little immature. D'Antoni cursed directly off the field at this time. How do you pass the ball? Passes will be broken, will it play? Curry just kept his head down. Lin Dong came over and patted his head. It's okay, pay attention later. It's the Knicks offense again. This time the pass was not broken. The Magic's defense was fast, and Lin Dong received the ball instantly. Petrus has repasted it. But Lin Dong didn't care so much, swayed left and right, and only killed the inside. Howard wanted to make up for it, and Lin Dong did not hesitate to pass the ball to the leaky Dior. At this time, Dior already had room to shoot. However, he stopped receiving the ball. It was in the blink of an eye that Howard arrived on his horse. At the moment of Dior's shot, he covered the ball. And also snatched the ball. Another successful defense, Howard once again showed his interior dominance. It's really a husband, it's impossible to open it. Howard grabbed the basketball and passed it to Alston. The latter slows down the tempo and advances to the front. Passing to Tekoglu on the left, Howard has come to the inside card slot. Suddenly, his back turned away from Dior. Tekoglu threw the ball into the air. Boom. The basketball, like precise guidance, flies above the basket. Howard soared into the sky, and his hands were empty. 8-0. The gap between the two sides is widening. Seeing that the form was not good, D'Antoni immediately called a timeout. When the player came off, D'Antoni scolded again. What is the defense doing? Can't play against Howard, will it? And you, UAE League, won't you go to make up for this ball? Can the attack be decisive? I'll ask you if you can be decisive. When you receive the ball, swallow slowly. Are you waiting for the defender to come and cover you? This time D'Antoni was really angry. Although I used to be angry, this time, it was particularly manic. But Lin Dong didn't know what to say. Because, he also discovered the problems of his teammates. Gain and loss, out of the ball. They have already had a chance, but either they don't shoot, or they hesitate. You know, facing such a strong team as the Magic. Such hesitation is given for nothing. It's about sending points. In this game, the Magic team is as imposing as a rainbow. The Knicks were powerless. Maybe tonight, the Knicks' winning streak is coming to an end. The Knicks urgently need someone to stand up at this time, and Lin Dong should take the initiative to take the responsibility of scoring at this time. It's a little hard. It can be seen that the Magic team is playing very targeted tonight, and it is not so easy for Lin Dong to score. Judging from the opening performance, the live commentary is very unoptimistic about the Knicks. Even the home fans were a little disappointed. How did you get it? How to play badly? Maybe the Magic team is too strong. The Knicks were nervous. But that's not their level. Running too slowly, not in place to return to defense, not decisive in attack, you will definitely lose if you fight like this. I hope Lin Dong can stand up and score later. The Knicks did not play well overall, and fans could only pin their hopes on Lin Dong. Lin Dong sat down and took 2 sips of his drink. Panting. If you continue to fight like this, it will definitely not work. He had to do something. Beep. The referee blew the whistle and the game continued. UAE sends the ball from the bottom line, Curry catches the ball organization. Lin Dong was very active and came over to ask for the ball. Curry did not hesitate and directly gave the ball to the pass. Facing Petrus, his eyes froze. Prepare yourself for singles. Because he didn't make the first 2 3-point shots, he wasn't prepared to shoot from long range this time. Release the ball and start doing crotch dribbling. The basketball was carried to his right hand and shook his shoulder. Then it suddenly starts, breaking through to the right. But Petrus was not shaken away, still clinging to Lin Dong. However, Lin Dong was still a few steps away from the basket, and suddenly closed the ball and turned around. The range was large, leaving Petrus behind. Coming to the basket, Howard raised his hand to make up for the defense. The two bodies collided together. Lin Dong tried hard to keep his center of gravity steady, holding the ball with one hand and shaking his wrist. The basketball flies high to the basket. It fell on the neck of the basket and bounced twice. In the end, it still fell into the basket. 8:2. Relying on Lin Dong's difficult shot, the Knicks finally broke the scoring drought. However, Lin Dong fell to the ground himself. His teammates immediately pulled him up. Lin Dong did not change anything because of this goal. Instead, he immediately ran back to the back and threw himself into the defense. It still depends on personal ability. At this time Lin Dong is going to stand up. It's so hard. The ball is almost out of angle. If you fight like this, the Knicks will still be difficult. Episode 124. Although Lin Dong scored this goal, it did not drive the state of other teammates. Back on the defensive end, others are always one step slower. Easily scored by the Magic. On the offensive end, everyone else doesn't seem to be very aggressive. Still very hesitant. So Lin Dong had to take on more offense. However, there is only one point of attack, which is easy to target. As a result, Lin Dong's attacks were almost all difficult. Back jumper, the two of them caught a difficult breakthrough. The first half is over. The Magic took a 74-50 lead. Although Lin Dong scored 28 points alone, it did not change the team's predicament. Number of assists, only 1. For other players, the maximum score is only 5 points. The atmosphere at the scene was reduced to a minimum. The fans sighed. Because of the 11-game winning streak, fans are used to winning. A sudden big backwardness, even a little difficult to accept. Hey! This game is really going to lose, it is completely hanged. The Magic team is still too strong, and the strength gap is obvious. If it weren't for Lin Dong's continuous difficulty scores, this score would be even more ugly. I don't know what defense is today. One by one, it seems that I haven't eaten, and I don't have fighting spirit. The home fans were disappointed, and the live commentary was more direct. The difference of 24 points is difficult to chase. Today's Knicks played so badly, except for Lin Dong, I don't know what the others are doing. You can't defend, you can't attack. If you continue to fight like this, it is possible to lose 50 points. If Lin Dong can't score in the second half, then the game will completely lose its suspense. Maybe this game, the Knicks can choose to give up. Lin Dong will definitely continue to be targeted in the second half. If he is injured, he will lose a lot. The Knicks players all shrugged their heads and walked back to the locker room, dejected. D'Antoni stopped scolding either. Because it's useless. There is a problem with the players' mood, and it is difficult to change. Back in the dressing room, the atmosphere in the dressing room was very dull. Everyone kept their heads down and was silent. This game made them the worst game they played in nearly a month. Although the team's overall roster is not as good as the Magic, it is not the level of the Knicks to lose so badly. Especially on the defensive end, the Magic scored a high score of 74 points. You know, at this time, there are not many games with scores exceeding 100. Lin Dong raised his head and looked at his teammates. Then stood up. Guys. The first half was the worst we've played in recent times. The sudden voice made everyone look over. Then bowed his head again. Because they really don't perform well. Dragged down Lin Dong, sorry for Lin Dong's performance. Hearing Lin Dong say this, they were ready to be scolded. But they are not prepared to defend either. Being scolded will make your heart feel better. But Lin Dong did not scold them. It's encouragement. Do you remember the 11-game winning streak? We beat the Suns, the Spurs, and the Nuggets. After the All-Star break, everyone didn't look favorably on us and said we were a shooting team, but we were still winning. Even 3 consecutive away games, we have won. So I've always believed in our ability, we have the quality to win all the teams, we are no worse than anybody. Saying that, the players raised their heads one after another. Start thinking back to this streak. Yes, from the original preparation to the current 11 consecutive wins. The strength of the team has been increasing. They also beat a lot of strong teams, they are not weak. Lin Dong paused and continued. Let's think about how we won 11 in a row. It's because of defense, and our defensive efficiency has been in the top 3 in the league during this time. And our offense, we played the league's first offensive efficiency. We used to be aiming to get to the playoffs, but now we're not. We can already set our sights on the championship, we can go and attack. Whoever says a young team can't win a championship, who says a basketball team can't win a championship, we can do it. Let's not put hope in the future, now we must go all out and live up to our efforts. Every game must be treated as if it were the last game of the finals. Speaking of which, the players all straightened their backs. The eyes were full of heat. Can we really beat the championship? The championship is what many players hope to get all their lives. But now, there is hope. Although the hope is small, it is also hope. Play every game as if it were the last game of the grand finals. Yes, we should. We should fight. Aren't we working so hard for the final championship? Seeing the heat in everyone's eyes, Lin Dong breathed a sigh of relief. So, no matter what the result is today, we need to show our attitude. Can it be done? All of a sudden, everyone stood up. Then gathered around Lin Dong. Everyone glanced at each other, then nodded. Yes. Everyone immediately shouted in unison. Suddenly, the neat sound resounded throughout the dressing room. Episode 125. At halftime, players from both sides returned to the field. D'Antoni held his chin with one hand, his face full of sadness. Is this game really going to be lost like this? Sighing, he shook his head. Soon he figured it out on his own. The team has played so badly before, and now it is just a wave of consecutive wins. I have higher expectations of the team. I can't accept the current situation for a while. In fact, it is nothing to lose a game, let the team let go of this burden and go to the better results, this result may be better. Thinking so, he raised his head. I actually saw that the faces of the players were full of fighting spirit. It was as if a red flame was burning around the body. He was stunned. What is the situation? On the other hand, the Magic are still very relaxed. Howard was still smiling happily. Even before the start of the game. He also came to Lin Dong's side and patted Lin Dong's shoulder. Brother, the first half played well. But in the second half I will definitely give you a block. Lin Dong turned his head to look at him. Then we'll see. Howard laughed. Kind of interesting. The game resumes. The Knicks execute their first offense. Curry passed the ball to Lin Dong. Because in the first half of the game, Lin Dong alone scored half of the Knicks' points. Therefore, since the second half, the Magic team resolutely implemented a bag clip on Lin Dong. Lin Dong learned from Curry and passed the ball to Gallinari from behind. The latter catches the ball, without the slightest hesitation, and immediately strikes. Boom. However, the basketball did not hit the basket, and bounced out again. Howard watched the basketball fall and jumped high. One arm is stretched high, and I am about to grab this rebound. Syllable. However, suddenly a person flew out. One arm snatched the basketball ahead of time. The basketball makes a crisp sound the moment the two hands join the ball. Howard looked up incredulously, it turned out to be the UAE. He thought the ball was inevitable, but he didn't expect to be intercepted halfway. UAE grabbed the rebound and immediately gave the ball to Gallinari again. Once again, the latter opted for a three-point shot. Swish. This time, Lady Luck was on his side. Basketball brush net hit. 74:53. After Gallinari scored, he waved his arm excitedly. D'Antoni squinted. It seems to be a little different from the state in the first half. Then he shouted towards the field. Nice job, just fight. Howard smiled disapprovingly. Isn't it just a three-pointer? As for being so excited? He looked up at the scoreboard. Isn't that 21 points behind? It was the Magic's turn to attack, and Alstom faced Curry. Did a few crotch dribbles to try to break through. But it was found that Curry could not pass. Curry's defensive pace is obviously much faster than in the first half. In desperation, he had to pass the ball to Turkoglu. Facing Gallinari, Turkoglu is still full of confidence. He jerked to the right, Gallinari clinging to him, otherwise he broke through. Suddenly, Turkoglu stopped sharply at his feet and dribbled behind his back. Dribbled the ball to the left-hand side. Gallinari was shaken a little away. But he immediately pounced on it. Resolutely, don't let him pass. He was cheering himself on, his eyes firmly fixed on the attacker. Turkoglu was a little surprised. It wasn't like that in the first half. How do you break the halftime and your steps become faster? The momentum is also different. Unable to break through, he had to pull the ball back and look for offensive opportunities again. Howard was right inside asking for the ball at this point. Without getting tangled, he hung high and passed the ball in. Although attitudes can change, talent is always insurmountable. Dior wanted to prevent the Warcraft, but the bodies of the two were no longer on the same level at all. Howard slammed hard and knocked Dio away. Then put your hands together and turned forward to dunk. However, Lin Dong had long been ready. Wait on the sidelines. The moment Howard jumped, Lin Dongfei rushed over. From behind, Howard's racket was brought to the rebound. Howard himself stumbled 2 steps forward. Everyone around was dumbfounded. Actually nail the big hat, Howard? Especially the members of the Magic team, they haven't seen such a drama for a long time. Can make Howard so embarrassed, Lin Dong is the third. The scene also cheered because of this cap. Howard is the king of blocks this season, but he was given such a block by Lin Dong. Heart-stirring. That's awesome. This goal should be selected as today's top 5. I knew that Lin Dong would cap Howard, and his blocking ability was not weaker than Howard. Lin Dong will never disappoint, he is such a trustworthy player. I just saw Lin Dong flying over. The live commentary also boiled. Oh my god. This ball is so beautifully covered. Howard top hat others, I have seen a lot, it is really rare to be covered by others so cruelly. I can only say that it is worthy of Lin Dong. Lin Dong blocked the shot, and in the process of falling, he also controlled the basketball in his hands. While Howard hasn't adjusted yet, Lin Dong turned around and immediately launched a quick attack. Episode 126. Lin Dong was very fast, surpassing the two of the Magic team in a blink of an eye. Curry was in front of him. Lin Dong came to the 3-point line and passed the ball to Curry. At this time, the Magic had only one person at the basket. The ball went to Curry, whose main defensive target was Curry. But Lin Dong is also coming. Curry came to the basket and suddenly passed the ball behind him. Lin Dong followed up and took 3 steps directly from the catch. Then he kicked his left foot hard and his body soared into the air. Tekaglu immediately faced Lin Dong. He remembered jumping the cap. But it was too late. Lin Dong pulls back with one arm holding the ball. Like a soaring eagle, it flies towards the basket. Boom. Lin Dong glided and crashed into Tekaglu, directly knocking the latter to the ground. And smashed the ball into the basket. 7-4-5-5. Suddenly, the audience boiled. Many fans stood up with their hands raised and cheered. Well buckled. Oh. That's awesome. After Lin Dong landed, he patted Curry on the back. It's beautiful. Tekaglu sat on the ground, touching his chest. Is this body joking? The moment they collided, he felt as if he had been hit by a large truck. And this jumping height, it's completely flying. His face felt really like Lin Dong's stomach. It took a while for his teammates to come and pull him up. D'Antoni clenched his hands into fists. Whispered, good ball. Even Howard shook his head again and again at this time. It's kind of awesome. First he sealed himself, and then he snapped Tekaglu. Such an ability is really a bit perverted. In the following game, the Knicks began to blossom in full swing. Curry dribbled behind the top of the arc and dangled Alstom. Direct 3-point shot. Gallinari immediately starts the catch and rushes inside. Howard scored a layup. Lin Dong steals Alstom's pass and launches a fast attack. Violent buckle wins. The UAE blocked Curry and disassembled outside the 3-point line. Received a pass from Curry, made a 3-point shot, and scored another 3 points. In the blink of an eye, the difference between the two sides came to only 5 points. The third quarter lasted only 6 minutes. The Knicks beat the Magic 26-7. The Magic head coach saw that the form was wrong and quickly called a timeout. Now it's the Magic's turn to be anxious. What are you fighting? A 24-point difference, half a quarter to make the opponent chase 19 points? Will you still play? The other party just tightened the defense, and you guys fought so chaotically? Can't defend and attack? What about tactics? What about the tactics I told you? Saying that, the head coach of the Magic slammed the tactical board angrily. Pass the ball to Howard and let him single. Understood? Compared to the Magic, the Knicks are an exhilarating scene. D'Antoni changed his face to the beginning with sadness and anger. Get excited. Guys, you guys played so well. The Magic are already under your defense and can't play. Just keep it like this, we can win this game. Saying that, he still felt curious. How a half-field time, the state of the players is completely different. What's wrong with you guys? Why did you suddenly want to open? Everyone just looked at each other and then burst out laughing. Forget it, don't say forget it. As long as you can win the game, it doesn't matter what it is. Wait until the Magic team will play Howard, you guys pay attention to his defense. The ups and downs of the game, the live commentary is not calm. How is this race like a volcano car? It's so exciting. I don't know what happened to the Knicks players, they were completely out of shape in the first half, and they were full of fire in the second half. I couldn't have imagined it. In half a quarter, the Knicks actually recovered 19 points. Now the pressure of the game is all on the side of the Magic. If they can't withstand this Phoenix attack, they will really be reversed. The game is back. Howard was a little impatient. His gaze kept falling on Lin Dong. The reason why the Knicks played such a wave of climax was all because of Lin Dong. The Magic went on their first offense. The main Howard is still an inside kill. Take advantage of a strong body and excellent technique. Strong hit. 83:76. The difference came back to 7 points. The Magic called this timeout quite effective, just came back from the timeout and scored a goal. Therefore, the Magic team should still focus on Warcraft, his advantage in the interior is too great. If the Magic keeps playing like this, the Knicks won't be able to handle it. Indeed, as the live commentary says, Howard's point is something that the Knicks can't solve. Even if it is a two-person bag, there is no good result. Don't talk about single defense. You can't prevent it at all. Lin Dong knows this well. A large part of the reason why I was able to play the climax just now was that the defense on my side suddenly tightened. As a result, the Magic team is not used to it. So when attacking, the fight was a little chaotic. Just called a timeout, their manager must have arranged this. So the problem in front of them now is still Howard. He had to do something to knock Howard down. Episode 127. The Knicks offense. Lin Dong immediately ran to the three-point line to catch the ball. Because the whole Knicks team bloomed collectively just now, they didn't dare to wrap Lin Dong. And with the basket guarded by Warcraft, they are also very relieved. That's what the Magic's defensive strategy is. If Lin Dong is on the outside, shoot the ball one-on-one. They can only admit it. But once they rush to the inside, there is Howard guarding the inside, and they are also very confident. However, Lin Dong's purpose is not to score, but Howard. Lin Dong dribbled left and right, looking for the rhythm of the attack. Suddenly started. Left side breakout. Leaning against Petrus, he burst in, and then a pause accelerated, and he was thrown away. 2 steps to the inside line. Howard has long been on the look. He wanted to give Lin Dong a cap and return the shame of the hat just now. But Lin Dong was not afraid at all. Rushed to meet Howard. He raised his hands in front of him, exposed. Howard saw this opportunity and immediately became excited. Immediately thought of blocking the ball. But the moment Lin Dong struck, he suddenly pulled the ball a little sideways. Howard's hand could only hit Lin Dong's hand. Lin Dong threw the ball to the rebound with one hand before landing. Beep. The referee whistles and shoots a foul. The basketball hit the edge of the rebound and landed on the neck of the basket. It bounced twice, and finally rolled into the basket. 2+1. This is Howard's third foul. Lin predicted that by the time of the fourth foul, the Magic would have replaced Howard. The Magic head coach beckoned to Howard at this point. Howard walked over impatiently. When Howard got to the side, he whispered, "You have committed 3 fouls now, pay attention to the fouls, do you know? The ball just now, Lin Dong should be going to you, pay more attention to the back, don't think about capping." Make a foul? Howard pondered this in his heart. No wonder that just that ball, it felt like a cap. But suddenly paid for a foul. It turned out that Lin Dong did it on purpose. You must know that although Howard averages blocks per game, he is first in the league. But his average number of fouls per game is not very high. This shows that his defensive IQ is high. Okay, I know, I will definitely not let Lin Dong succeed again. Howard became rarely serious. Lin Dong walked to the free throw line and hit the ball steadily. 83:79. The two sides were left with a 4-point difference. The Magic had another time Howard hit the inside. Dio was still a little powerless in front of him. Although I have defended very hard, it still has no effect. Howard is so strong. Aren't the Knicks ready to pocket or foul yet? Not only the Knicks, but the Magic team did not wrap Lin Dong. It seems that the two teams just want these two people to bombard. One of these two is an inside defensive gate, the other is an outside death stalker, and both have extremely strong offensive ability. It depends on who can be better. The Knicks offense. It was Lin Dong holding the ball at the top of the arc again. That foul just now must have made Howard no longer so easily fooled. So this time you can't take the same way you just played. He beckoned to the UAE and asked him to come and block the demolition. The UAE immediately trotted over, spread his legs, and put his hands on his abdomen to stand firm. Block the side of Petrus. Lewis immediately followed. He had already experienced Lin Dong's offensive ability, and he was resolutely unable to let go. Lin Dong started. He quickly dribbled to the side of the UAE cover. Lewis did not go up to grab, but on the side of the UAE, ready to prevent a breakthrough. However, Lin Dong suddenly became a disguise. Threw the ball between Petrus and Lewis. Then he quickly passed through the middle. Pick up the basketball again. Dribble the ball and come to the inside. Howard still didn't react. His eyes widened and he looked at Lin Dong incredulously. And Lin Dong jumped with both legs and held the basketball high with one arm. Howard thought of jumping, but it was too late. Lin Dong had already flown over. With his legs spread, he rode him into the basket. Boom. The fans all held their breath for a second before the dunk and watched the situation on the court. They have some expectations, this ball will not be dunked. As a result, I saw that it was really a riding buckle, and I was suddenly not calm. Stood up and let out a scream. Oh my God. Lin Dong actually rode Howard. It's really a riding buckle. It's crazy. I'm going to faint with excitement. There are also fans with big mouths and frozen expressions. Still some don't quite believe it's true. Inside players are rarely blocked. Not to mention a strong interior like Howard, it's almost impossible. Except for his first season, when he was denied by Kobe, Howard was rarely detained. Even as a background board, there are very few. But today, he's literally being locked up. Or riding buckle, such a sense of shock, the impact is really too big. Lin Dong was still hanging under the basket with one arm and hung for a while. Howard's face turned green. Rushed over and pushed Lin Dong. Such a shame, he could not accept. The UAE quickly rushed over and blocked Lin Dong's front. Pushed Howard back. In an instant, all the players from both teams gathered around. Push each other. Episode 128. Howard didn't really want to fight. He just wanted to save a little face in this way. However, nothing works. Instead, just make yourself look more ugly. So, in being pulled away by teammates. Nor did he resist at all. The conflict burned from the beginning to the end, and it took only 10 seconds before and after. However, the referee did not punish the two teams because of this. Instead, he blew a technical foul on Howard and the UAE. Lin Dong and Howard made separate free throws, and after the free throws, the ball went to the Magic. Howard gasped and walked to the free throw line. Just one round, he suffered a big loss. And also lost face. He was originally inaccurate in free throws, plus he was emotionally unstable. The free throw turned out to be a 3-no stick. Just now this blocker, I think it is comparable to Kobe's blocking Howard's ball. It's amazing. Yes. The man scored, passed the two, and rode Howard, this ball should compete for the best dunk of the season. Lin Dong's physical talent is the best I've ever seen James, and I can't remember how many wonderful dunks he contributed this season. The live commentary has been completely conquered by Lin Dong. Even if a conflict broke out between the two sides. But their topic is still on the dunk just now. The fans at home could not calm down for a long time. Still hotly discussing the dunk just now. Howard missed a free throw. It was Lin Dong's turn to make a free throw. Lin Dong's mentality was not affected in the slightest. Hit the free throw steadily. 85:82. And at the time of the free throw, the scene shouted neatly MVP. 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 The sound is neat and loud. Howard no longer has a smile on his face, some are just serious, angry, unwilling. He was the best defensive player last season. This season is also a strong contender for MVP. Last year, he reached the finals. Such a self was actually compared to a newcomer like Lin Dong. He can't accept it. Especially when the fans shouted Lin Dong's MVP, his anger reached its climax. Lin Dong's free throw ended, and it was the turn of the Magic to attack. Howard came straight to the inside to ask for the ball. Dior pushed him hard. Lin Dong shouted at the Chinese of the UAE, bag. The UAE immediately understood. Near Howard, waiting for the opportunity to prepare the bag. Alstoon felt that Howard's state of mind at this time was not very good and did not want to pass the ball to him. But seeing Howard's appearance, he had to pass the ball over. Boom. Howard took the ball and immediately slammed it backwards. this time, full of power. If it weren't for the low enough pressure of Dior's center of gravity, this time he might have been knocked down directly. And then, again. Dior gritted his teeth and pressed against Howard. However, Howard was now infinitely close to the basket. He turned around and slapped the ball before shaking it. Then immediately turn around and hold the ball with your hands perpendicular to your body. When the right elbow turned around, he took Dior directly away. Then it's about raising your hands above your head and wanting to dunk with both hands. But the UAE has been in ambush for a long time. Seeing that Howard was about to dunk, he immediately pounced. Holding his hands up vertically, he blocked Howard's face. But where does Howard manage so much now? He just wants to dunk. I just want to vent my anger in this way. The two bumped into each other face to face. The UAE's hand was firmly blocked on Howard's basketball. The UAE was knocked to the ground, and Howard was tightly sealed. Now, he was even more anxious. First he was capped, and then he was buckled. Now even the UAE has come to seal him. His emotions have come to the brink of explosion. Lin Dong was the first to rush to the two and picked up the fallen basketball. Prepare for a quick attack. But Howard suddenly stood up. In anger, he bumped into Lin Dong from behind. Lin Dong was knocked to the ground. Beep. The referee whistles again. Technical foul, 2 free throws. 2 technical fouls. 2 criminals, direct appearance. Howard spread his hands and whispered a few swear words in his mouth. Without looking back, he walked to the dressing room. The live commentary was a little dumbfounded. What's going on? How good is the one who is sent off? Howard, this is too impulsive. He's not there, the Magic will be hard to play next. It must have been some balls just now, affecting his emotions. Howard has to learn to control his emotions. The momentum had already come to the Knicks' side. With Howard absent, the Magic's morale is even lower. Without Howard's interior line, the Knicks' offense is much easier. And without a strong containment point, the Magic's offense will be more difficult. The home fans have just been immersed in the joy of the UAE capping Howard. Within seconds, Howard was sent off directly. Such a sudden turn almost sentenced the Magic team to death. The home fans were even more excited. Although the confrontation between Lin Dong and Howard is not visible, the team's victory is more important. The Magic head coach stomped his foot angrily. There is no problem with the referee awarding the penalty, but Howard's temper has had problems more than once. Episode 129. Howard's departure directly disrupted the Magic's plans. There was a problem with both offense and defense. The Knicks are imposing. For the rest of the third quarter, the Magic played again at 12:4. Turn the score back. 91:100. The Knicks blasted out a horror score of 50 in a single quarter. The Magic, on the other hand, scored just 17 points. Single quarter netting over the Magic by 33 points. Lin Dong scored 14 points again in this quarter, and the individual score in this game has reached 42 points. The fourth quarter kept a good touch, and breaking through 50 points was almost a sure thing. But in the final quarter, the Magic team directly routed. Halfway through, the difference between the two sides had reached 15 points. And there is a trend to continue to expand. Lin Dong did not continue to play. Sat on the sidelines throughout the fourth quarter. Although the fans still want to see Lin Dong play, but the huge point difference, they also understand. So at the end of the game, fans started to take the lead in shouting, Lin Dong MVP. Then the audience shouted together, Lin Dong MVP. Lin Dong MVP. Lin Dong MVP. At the end of the game, the Knicks won the final 121-103 victory. 12 consecutive wins. Lin Dong personally scored 42 points, 4 assists, 6 rebounds, 4 steals, 4 blocks. Well-deserved evaluation for this MVP. Congratulations to the Knicks for their victory, and congratulations to them for extending their winning streak to 12. This game allows us to see the horror of the Knicks again. In the East, and indeed in the entire league, the Knicks are now a force to be reckoned with. And Lin Dong's performance in this battle can almost be said to be impeccable. Yes. Don't give up when adversity, lead the team in good times, still so comprehensive. I can hardly find any shortcomings in Lin Dong anymore, he is too strong. After the game, the live commentary once again expressed praise to the Knicks and Lin Dong. And the home fans are even more excited. 12 wins in a row. At the beginning of the season, it was a fantasy. Don't say 12 consecutive wins, it's 3 consecutive wins, they are already excited and don't know why. It's all like a dream. It's so powerful, even the Magic team won. I can hardly think of any other team that can stop the Knicks. Lin Dong was really given to the Knicks by heaven. Without him, where would there be these 12 consecutive victories? I didn't buy Lin Dong's jersey last time. I heard that the shirt will be on the shelves tomorrow, and I will have to buy it in line tonight. Really? Then let's go together, I'll buy another one too. With the enthusiastic discussion of the fans began to leave one after another. Back to the dressing room. The Knicks players quickly surrounded Lin Dong. We really beat the Magic. We beat last season's Eastern Conference champions, and we won. Shock to the championship. Hit the championship. This victory is not just an ordinary victory. It was a game in which the Knicks won with confidence. Although they have won 11 in a row, they are still not so confident. Think that in the face of Magic, there is no chance of victory. But now the big victory has boosted their confidence. Lin Dong said that the championship, they also feel that they also have the strength to fight. Before, it always felt like the championship was far away from them, out of reach. Didn't even think about it. But now it's different, they're on the brink of the playoffs. There are already tickets for the championship. At the same time, they are now the hottest team in the league, and the strength of the team is increasing day by day. They have Lin Dong, a super player, and they have the strongest bombardment tactics and lineup. At the beginning of this game, they were under too much pressure. Thinking about winning, thinking about keeping the winning streak going. But deep down, I feel that I can't beat the Magic. So at the beginning, I was very hesitant and very tight. But after Lin Dong's enlightenment, everyone wanted to open. I became more confident. D'Antoni also walked in at this time. See the players celebrating excitedly. He joined the group. This game is too important for the team. He clapped his hands vigorously and shouted, "You guys fought great today. Tonight is the best fight you guys have. After this game, you will definitely play better. I can tell you for sure now that you are the best player now, you are a title contender." Now, the players are even more excited. Surrounded Lin Dong and D'Antoni in the middle. Then jump in circles. Champion! Champion! The neat and loud sound once again resounded in the dressing room. You can hear it even outside the dressing room. At this time in the Cleveland Cavaliers locker room, James bit his finger and looked at his phone. They just won by the same big score. But this is not a rare thing for them. But he was a little surprised to see the Knicks beat the Magic. 12 consecutive wins, is it so strong? If the Knicks win other teams, he doesn't think anything yet. But winning the Magic trick, he felt a little incredible. The strength of the Magic team, he can be regarded as the person who knows the best. In the playoffs last year, they lost to the Magic. Will the Knicks be a dark horse this year? Episode 130. News of the Knicks' victory over the Magic quickly spread throughout the league. 12 straight wins, the longest winning streak of the season. Even the Lakers, a top team like the Cavaliers, have never done it. And these 12 consecutive wins are very rich in gold. The teams defeated are strong teams such as the Spurs, Suns, Nuggets, and Magic. There is also a tough schedule of 3 consecutive away games. After beating the Magic, the Knicks officially entered the top 8 in the East. The Heat also scored one place, 7th in the East. Correspondingly, the Bulls were squeezed out of the top 8. However, the teams from 5th to 10th have similar wins. It is very likely that such an interesting phenomenon will occur. After one match day, the rankings of these teams all changed. TNT TV did another program that day. The theme is the Knicks is 12 straight wins. The hosts are still Albert and Barkley. Albert spoke first. "Barkley, the Knicks have won 12 straight games, do you have anything to say?" Barkley licked his lips. "What else can I say? They have won 12 straight games, and they have also beaten the Magic, who are second in the league, as well as strong teams such as the Spurs. They're unstoppable now. In the last game, they also completed a big comeback of 20 minutes. They're a big team right now, a big enough team that the whole league doesn't want to face." Elpot nodded. "Walk in front of the big screen." Some information is immediately displayed on the big screen. The above are all games during the Knicks' 12-game winning streak. Let's look at the Knicks' data for this time. Averaging 11-13 points per game and shooting 473% from the field, both offensive stats are the highest in the league during this period. Averaged 263 assists per game, 3rd in the league. This shows that the Knicks are a team that is happy to share the ball, knowing that before the 12 straight wins, they averaged only a measly 16 assists per game. You can see from these numbers that the Knicks are now a top offensive team. After Albert finished speaking, Barkley added, "I've never seen a team like this where they can shoot threes with 5 players on the court. The basketball runs very fast, everyone is like a pulley under their feet, tireless, running all the time. Until a good position appears, then the shot hits. This team reminds me of the Suns, but they don't have the same style as the Suns. The Suns use Nash as the starting point, and the Knicks seem to be the starting point for everyone, and then everyone is the end point." Albert listened carefully to Barkley. Nodded, then tapped his finger a few times on the screen. Then new content appeared. "After talking about offense, we're talking about defense. During the 12-game winning streak, the Knicks had 104 defensive efficiency, 5th in the league. Their defense also comes from their positivity, they are tireless, like hungry wolves pounce, see where there is an empty space and immediately pounce. So overall, we said they were shooting brigades, which was a big mistake. They show with their actions and stats that they are not only efficient in attack, but also defensively." With that, he looked at Barkley. "Barkley, how long do you think their winning streak will last, or which team do you think will beat them?" Barkley tilted his head and grinned. Obviously, he had some difficulty answering this question. In this case, let's take a look at their next schedule. They're going to play the Raptors back-to-back tomorrow, then the Bucks on the road, then the Grizzlies, the 76ers, the Pacers, the Hawks, and the like. But judging by the team's record, the Hawks are the strongest. But they've all beaten the Magic, and I can't think of a team that can beat them. If it's the most likely, it's still the Eagle. But the Eagles' words, their star John's son happens to be in the opposite position with Lin Dong, and under Lin Dong's death entanglement, he can play a little strength, it is not good." Albert burst out laughing. "Barkley, I didn't expect you to be so optimistic about Lin Dong now. You were the first to look down on him before." Barkley pouted, "You must have misremembered, how could I not be optimistic about him?" Saying that, he also made a funny expression. "However, I was afraid that Albert would say something about kissing the cow's ass." Fortunately, Albert did not continue on this either. Instead, a different topic. "Since we talked about Lin Dong, let's talk about him next. You must know that these 12 consecutive wins were only started after Lin Dong joined the Knicks." As he spoke, he swiped the screen. The above appeared Lin Dong's personal performance during this time. Let's take a look. During the 12-game winning streak, Lin Dong averaged 273 points, 45 assists, 45 rebounds, 43 steals, and 31 blocks per game. Among them is 4th in the league in scoring, and in front of him are Durant, James, and Anthony. Steals are 1st in the league, and blocks are also 1st in the league. His defensive efficiency is an astonishing 86, and he has faced a mesmerizing 23% of defenders. You can even see offensive players in the game facing Lin Dong, they dare not dribble and shoot. Such a player is a phenomenal player, and the most terrifying thing is that he is only 20 years old. Barkley suddenly held his head. "Oh my God. How could there be such a talented player? I thought James was already strong, and now there are actually stronger than him. Such a rookie season performance, I think maybe only mine can compare, haha." Albert gave him a disdainful look. Barkley had just 14 points and 86 rebounds in his rookie season. NBA, Draft Underdog becomes basketball's ultimate lockdown star. Episode 131. At this time in Under Armour's office, a meeting is going on. The main members of the meeting were Under Armour's chairman, as well as a group of senior executives, as well as Barkley. Barkley stood at the front of the table and spoke. "Lin Dong has led the Knicks to 12 straight wins, and his personal data is almost the best among rookies in history. It's all on the pitch, but it's enough to prove his individual potential. In a few years, he'll definitely be the top star in the league." The executives all have a piece of data in their hands. The data is Lin Dong's personal performance during this time, and comparisons with all-time star rookie seasons. They still agree with Barkley's conjecture. Barkley continued, "Let me talk about off-field impact. In February, Lin Dong sold the first jersey in the league. His jersey sold out 3 times, and a new batch of shirts will hit the shelves tomorrow. Not surprisingly, the result will also be sold out. Then I'll talk about magazines. In recent times, as long as the cover is Lin Dong's magazine or newspaper, it is all sold out. And the last issue of Sports Time and Space magazine created their history, the fastest sellout time, 20 minutes. Then you can look at the data I gave you. The above shows the sales of goods around Lin Dong, with undoubted exceptions, all of them are very good." The high-level leaders exchanged ear-to-ear discussions. Then he nodded repeatedly. "It is no exaggeration to say that Lin Dong is the hottest player in the league now, and he is blowing a whirlwind." For what Barkley said, the top brass fully agreed. This is no longer a guess, it is already a fact. The alliance is blowing a whirlwind. After Barkley last talked with Lin Dong, he immediately returned and told the company's senior management and the board of directors. Although they also fancy Lin Dong, they always feel that 2% of the shares is too high, and before that, the company had no such precedent. They feared that once they did, more spokespeople would make such requests, so they kept their decision undecided. But Berkeley remained adamant that it was a huge opportunity for Under Armour. He has a hunch that once a cooperation is reached this time, Under Armour will gain a foothold in the NBA and get a place. Seeing the satisfied appearance of the high level, he continued, "Look at the last data sheet. This is the offer given to Lin Dong by several other companies now. Nike started with 5 years and 30 million, and now it has mentioned 5 years and 50 million. And Audi is now 7 years 1,200 million. Reebok more, 200 million in 10 years. Through these data, we can clearly know that Lin Dong is now a sweet potato in the market, and many companies are looking forward to cooperating with him. And we Under Armour, to be honest, the bid will definitely not be able to outperform them." Speaking of this, the management shook their heads helplessly. Indeed, with Under Armour's current strength, they cannot come up with a high endorsement fee. Their main fitness series sales are also relatively average, so they urgently need to break new ground, and the basketball series is their goal. But Nike is the only one, and it is difficult for them to get a piece of the pie. That's why they're so anxious to find a suitable spokesperson and open up their popularity. At this time, one of the high-level leaders took the lead in speaking. "Compared with the quotations of other companies, Lin Dong's requirements for us are really not high. 5 million a year, it's too cheap. 2% of the shares, in fact, is nothing. With our current situation, this cooperation is completely more beneficial than disadvantageous for us. So I agree to this cooperation." After speaking, he raised his hand and made his position clear. Then, more high-ranking officials followed, but the company's chairman hesitated. Berkeley was a little anxious, cautiously asked, "Chairman, do you still feel that the requirements are high?" The chairman shook his head. "It's not high, it's low. When Lin Dong gave us this offer, it was based on the quotations of other brands at that time, but now other brands have raised their endorsement fees a lot. If we still have this price, it seems that we are not sincere, and at the same time we do not have any advantages." Berkeley was slightly stunned. Then he asked, "So, Chairman, what do you mean?" The chairman suddenly straightened up, with a serious expression, "So I decided to increase our weight a little. The shares that Lin Dong said before are shares of independent brands, and I want to change them to 1% of Under Armour. At the same time, 5 million became 6 million a year, plus 2% of the sales of the Lin Dong series." As soon as the words fell, a lot of heated discussions immediately sounded on the scene. "Chairman, is this too high?" "Yes, 1% of the shares, it's too high." The chairman shook his head. "It's a bit high, but I think it's worth it. I believe this partnership will help us open the doors of the NBA and create a bigger area for the company." Lin Dong said before that the number of years of cooperation does not matter, but I hope that the longer this time, the better. Preferably 10 years, or lifelong. Episode 132, Lifetime Contract. Or a rookie, such a thought is crazy. There is no precedent for that in the NBA. Even Jordan has not been treated like this. Now there are many brands, and there are very few players with lifetime contracts. You can count them with one finger. Because there is so much uncertainty in the NBA, injuries, form, off-field, locker room issues, can all affect a player's career. So when brands give contracts, they will consider a lot. Not to mention a lifetime contract. It's a big gamble, but the chief sensible thinks it's worth it. He is very optimistic about Lin Dong's potential and believes that Lin Dong will definitely bring a turning point to Under Armour. At the same time, he hopes to continue to work together. Everyone gasped. The chairman has such boldness, they don't. No matter how you listen to it, I think this is crazy. But since the chairman has said so, they can't refute anything. I had to nod one after another. "I agree," Berkeley said loudly, instantly attracted everyone's attention. "Although Lin Dong and I have only met once, I think he is the kind of person worth gambling." Berkeley looked at the high-ranking officials with determined eyes. If he can come up with such an idea, it shows that he is a person with a purpose. I know Lin Dong from a lot of people. He is a very hardworking and leadership player. Such a player, if he doesn't succeed, I can't think of anyone else. Therefore, I very much agree with the chairman that this will definitely be the moment when Under Armour changes history." The chairman nodded. "Good. Then this matter is so decided. Berkeley, you hurry up to draw up the contract, and then contact other departments to facilitate this cooperation as soon as possible. It's up to you to do this. After the contract is signed, we will have a very large press conference to publicize this matter." "Good," Berkeley responded excitedly. In one day, Berkeley had everything ready. All that remains is to contact Lin Dong. The next day, because the Knicks had a game, he went straight to the Knicks arena. Lin Dong glanced at the contract and was very satisfied. Then Mark was called. Mark was also stunned when he saw this contract. He thought that Lin Dong was crazy enough, but he didn't expect Under Armour to be even crazier. But that's not something he should worry about. All he has to do is check if there are any problems with the contract, and the specific details of the cooperation after the cooperation. Berkeley brought 2 contracts. One contract is for a period of 10 years, and the other is for life. Lin Dong naturally knew what a lifetime contract meant. However, he did not choose a lifetime, but 10 years. Because Lin Dong is a person with ideas. He didn't want to lock himself here for the rest of his life. Maybe he'll create his own brand later. For Lin Dong's choice, Berkeley was not surprised. It should be said that Lin Dong chose any of them, he was not surprised. Happy cooperation. After Mark finished checking, Lin Dong signed it directly. Happy cooperation. Berkeley and Lin Dong shook hands. I believe it will be a win-win cooperation. After the contract is signed, you are our shareholder, and you can be regarded as my boss. We will arrange a relatively large press conference later. Lin Dong nodded. Good. Everything you arrange, I believe in your strength. When everything was done, Berkeley happily returned to Under Armour, told the company's top brass about this. Good. Well done. All that's left is to build momentum for this cooperation. This matter is still left to you. At this time, in Nike's office, Blake jumped up and down anxiously. He has already applied to the company's top brass for a higher price, but Lin Dong was still unmoved. He had a hunch that he was really going to be a shopping guide. Angry, he called Mike again and scolded him fiercely. Just signed an endorsement sneaker contract. Lin Dong's more important thing now has finally come to a successful end. He was also in a good mood. In the game against the Raptors that night, Mighty, he scored 51 points, a career high. A few days later, Under Armour released the news of the press conference. It immediately caused a sensation in the NBA. Is Under Armour crazy? To give Lin Dong such a high endorsement fee and return the shares is completely gambling. I heard that Under Armour was still ready to sign a lifetime contract for Lin Dong at that time, but Lin Dong did not agree, and only signed it for 10 years. If that's the case, that's an NBA record. I still can't accept this, it's too dreamy. Lin Dong is really a winner in life. From the Development Alliance to now, it has only taken less than 2 months. Envious. Raptors, why are we always injured? Nike executives knew about it. For a moment I didn't know what to say. 6 million endorsement fees per year, 2% of sales, 1% of the shares. If you do this, you won't have to play at all. They were very disappointed that they did not reach cooperation with Lin Dong. Immediately, the company made an announcement. Readjust the position of Blake, the head of Nike in New York, and the new position is the shopping guide of Nike's flagship store on East Avenue in New York. Episode 133. Not only major sports brands, but also athletes and fans all knew the news. After all, Lin Dong is now in the limelight. Almost everyone in the union was watching him, and the contract between Lin Dong and Under Armour directly accounts for 1% of Under Armour's shares. This is unprecedented among athletes. Nature attracts the attention of many people. Under Armour is so crazy that he actually gave Lin Dong such a high endorsement fee. Hi. With Under Armour's size, 1% of the shares is not much, and Lin Dong's sales are 2% of the series. I don't know how much he can sell. I heard that Reebok bid 200 million yuan in 10 years, but Lin Dong still chose Under Armour. His brain must also be broken. Under the umbrella of this small brand, I have not heard of it. Just for that share, just a stupid choice. Stupid or not, I don't know, but I envy it. After playing for 10 years, he has not earned as much as he has played more than a dozen games. The above is the epitome of what many NBA players think. Athletes think more and compare them with their contracts. Naturally, someone envies, someone is jealous, and as a fan, it is simply the melon-eating masses. They only knew that Lin Dong was now setting records. 6 million a year, and sales, and shares, which is also amazing. Other sports brands have also offered high prices, but Lin Dong finally chose Under Armour, which is really enviable. He's a record. The biggest contract signed by a rookie. It's not good to say, it depends on sales. I don't care, as soon as the sneakers are out, I'm going to buy a pair. I also buy it. As a fan of Lin Dong, he must get a pair of sneakers. In a short period of time, the news about Lin Dong's signing of Under Armour has spread all over the internet. The report on the news also rushed to the first place in sports news in an instant. Seeing this, the top management of Under Armour was excited in their hearts. I just said that Lin Dong has a lot of potential, but the signing news has rushed to the first. I'm already looking forward to the day when the sneakers go on sale. Berkeley muttered excitedly as he looked at the computer. Lin Dong and the chairman, he is very impressed. Both are full of courage and very strategic. When Lin Dong signed the contract at that time, he also put forward some requirements. That is the design of sneakers, and I need to make a little advice. And the finished sneakers, he needs to try them on first. He thinks he can, before they can be sold. This is a strict requirement for the quality and appearance of this sneaker. It's a bit of a hassle, but Berkeley appreciates it. Previously, the company was designing a sneaker and invested almost all of the company's best technology. Now, Lin Dong has been signed. They thought about just taking this shoe and transforming it. After all, this is already the best sneaker they can make. Whether it is wrapping, shock absorption, grip, it is very good. The rest is to wait for Lin Dong's design, and then make the sneakers for Lin Dong to try on. On this day, Lin Dong's jersey was on the shelves again. half a day's time, all stores are sold out again. There was even a jersey that was maliciously gouged for the price. But there are still many people who are willing to pay a high price to buy one. Because this day was a rest day, Lin Dong was busy with the sneakers. Once again, I came to my own restaurant. Sneakers are for their own development and interests, and restaurants are basically for their own selfish desires. Taste Siagwa cuisine. There is also a more ambitious goal, which is to promote Siagwa jia, but this one didn't think so much. Come to the restaurant and find that the restaurant has changed a lot. The signboard has been replaced. A red wood-paneled sign that reads Lin Dong XIA Restaurant. The whole thing looks very atmospheric. Lin Dong nodded in satisfaction and walked in. I didn't see Nzue, but I saw many busy figures. The interior of the restaurant has basically not changed, but the rubbing is brighter. The overall look gives a feeling of hurry and comfort. A large LCD screen is also installed on the wall. However, it has not been played at this time. What surprised Lin Dong the most was that there were many photos of himself hanging around the wall, mostly the moment of the court. Lin Dong, you're here. Just as Lin Dong was still looking at these photos, a familiar voice came from behind him. Lin Dong turned around and saw Nzue wearing a waiter's clothes and an apron walking towards him. The apron was also stained with a lot of stains. Apparently just been busy. Lin Dong, you see that the store is doing this, is it okay? Seeing Lin Dong coming, Nzue asked confidently. It seems that he is quite satisfied with his work. Lin Dong also nodded. Good, very feeling. It's just on this wall, Lin Dong said, pointing to the photo on the wall. Nzue immediately understood what Lin Dong meant. I just learned last time that you're a superstar in the NBA and our restaurant is a star, so of course it's going to have to be publicized. This will attract a lot of customers for free. You don't know, we haven't reopened yet, and many people have already come to ask. I'm sure business will be very hot when restaurants reopen. Not only that, this TV on the wall, I plan to show the video of your game then. The corner of Li Dong's mouth twitched. This little Nizi in front of her is quite good at business. Okay, that's okay, but the pictures have been changed by then. I'll take some photos of you wearing Tang costumes, and you hang them here. After all, we are here a summer restaurant, not a basketball-themed restaurant, and the main focus of the restaurant is Xia national cuisine. Nzue nodded with a smile. Okay, I'll listen to you. Lin Dong looked around, then asked, is the new menu ready? Show me. Episode 134. Soon, Nzue came over with the menu of the new work. Lin Dong flipped through the menu. The cuisine above has changed from Sichuan cuisine to Southern cuisine. Stinky cinnamon, sweet and sour tenderloin, lotus leaf tamales, longjing shrimp, and so on. Most of them are some dishes with a relatively light taste and characteristics. Lin Dong found a seat and sat down. Looking up at Nzue, are the cooks there? Let them cook a few dishes for me to try first. Well, they've been preparing for a long time. I'll let them do it right away. After that, Nzue hurriedly went to the back kitchen. After a while, several waiters came up with a few dishes. Before he tasted it, Lin Dong smelled a burst of fragrance. And the appearance of each dish is also very good. Just looking at it, there is a desire to taste. Lin Dong picked up the chopsticks, took a piece of smelly cinnamon fish, and put it in his mouth. Nzue looked at Lin Dong expectantly. Then Lin Dong took another piece of sweet and sour tenderloin and put it in his mouth. Instantly, deliciousness hits the taste buds. Then he tasted all the dishes again, finally put down the chopsticks. In addition to Nzue, everyone else in the restaurant also looked at Lin Dong expectantly. Everyone in the restaurant is from Siagwa. I also heard Nzue say that Lin Dong is their boss. So, the boss's evaluation is crucial. Lin Dong pretended to be serious. Isn't it delicious? Nzue asked cautiously. Lin Dong shook his head. Suddenly, he burst out laughing. It's delicious. Suddenly, everyone jumped up with joy. This taste is the same as what I ate in Siagwa, and it feels even more delicious. I believe that this taste will definitely be liked by the American people. Nzue patted her chest. I found these chefs after looking for a long time. They were all great chefs before. Li Dong nodded in satisfaction. I'll be relieved to leave this shop to you. Praised by Lin Dong. Nzue seemed to have heard the highest appreciation in the world. Before, she came to the United States alone to open a restaurant. There is no love, but the result is a loss of blood. Even at one point, I felt that I couldn't do anything well. Now I don't know why. After working with Lin Dong, I feel a sense of peace of mind and become more confident. Almost everything in the store can be done today, and it will open tomorrow. Look, do you want to open directly, or do you want to pick a date? Nzue asked. After all, as a Xia countryman, for a day like the opening, he usually chooses an auspicious day. Lin Dong waved his hand. Forget it, don't look at the day, just tomorrow. You said it all, many people want to come to eat, so what are you waiting for? Good. Nzue responded. After explaining, Lin Dong asked everyone to stop and eat together before talking. When it opens tomorrow, I won't come, you guys work hard. Nzue was stunned. You're not coming? You're the boss, Lin Dong replied. I still have a competition tomorrow, and it is enough to have you. I don't worry. After a while, I will invite my teammates to come here for dinner. Okay then. and Ziyue was a little lost. However, she did not know that this loss was because Lin Dong did not come, which had an impact on the publicity. Still lost, because he couldn't see Lin Dong. Lin Dong returned home, opened its own properties panel. Name, Lin Dong. Height, 201 centimeters. Weight, 100 kilograms. Arm span, 220 centimeters. Offensive, 83 on layups, 82 on the field, 80 on three-point range. Defense, 90 steals, 88 rebounds, 94 outside defense. Technique, pass 75, possession 77. Physical fitness, speed 93, strength 93, bounce 91, physical fitness 92. Skills, death rapper, dry pole jumper. Upgrade point, 1100. Lin Dong was surprised to find that his physical fitness had also increased a little in all aspects. Is it real training? Not only can you get upgrade points, but also directly enhance your physical fitness. Lin Dong thought for a while, but did not get an answer. And the system never talks to itself, doesn't answer its own questions. I simply didn't bother with it. During this time, he gained a lot of promotion points through competitions and training. The main upgrades in passing and possession have also improved a lot. There are 24 games left in the regular season. He must improve his abilities as much as possible in the remaining time. It's just that this is not enough to lead the team further in the playoffs, because most of the team are young players with no playoff experience. In the playoffs, all teams will be stronger defensively, and the referee's whistle will also be loose. So it's a big challenge for the team. He needs to get stronger. Winning the title in the first season is not something you can't think about. Lin Dong's idea is still the same as before. As long as he can upgrade, he will upgrade the ball first. In the playoffs, it's the stage for superstars. At that point, he will need to step up. So he will increase a lot of offense with the ball, and that's when possession is crucial. Then there's the layup. While the team has a lot of shooters, shooting percentage can slip with playoff-level defense. So at that time, it is necessary to break through to the inside line. Even if you can't score, it's good to be able to make a foul. Now the sneakers and other endorsements, Lin Dong has also made almost the same. Restaurants are also about to open. I basically don't have anything to do off the court. Therefore, he prepared for this time and worked harder. Prepare for the playoffs. Episode 135, April 14th. The regular season ended on the last day. All the team rankings are set. The top 8 teams in the East are Cavaliers, Magic, Eagles, Celtics, Knicks, Heat, Bucks, Bulls. The top 8 teams in the West are Lakers, Mavericks, Suns, Nuggets, Jazz, Blazers, Spurs, Thunder. In the last 24 games, the Knicks are 20-4. In one fell swoop, it rushed to 5th in the East. The Celtics are just one game away from winning or losing. The regular season scoring title was picked by Durant with 301 points. Lin Dong ranked 3rd in the league with 283 points. The rebounding king was taken away by Howard with an average of 132 rebounds per game. The assist king is Nash, averaging 11 per game. The steal king is Lin Dong, averaging 33 per game. The block king is also Lin Dong, averaging 29 per game. However, the steal king and the block king, there are no awards. 2 days later, on April 17th, the playoffs began. Because the Knicks are 5th in the East, all have no home court advantage. The first game is on Boston. There were 3 other races that day. The Cavaliers vs Bulls, the Hawks vs Heat, and the Jazz vs Nuggets. In the first playoffs, the team was excited, at the same time very nervous. Lin Dong took everyone to his restaurant to eat and relax everyone's mood. D'Antoni was also among them. Lin Dong, your business is too good. I have been here a few times before, and there is no place. If you hadn't brought us as the boss, I wouldn't have had the chance to eat the food here. After that, Nate also continued, but isn't it? I've been here several times, each time for hours. Indeed, as they say, as soon as the restaurant opened, business exploded. If you want to eat here, you almost have to queue up. And Ziyue was on the side and said with a smile, next time you come, tell me in advance, I will leave a place for you. The UAE also smiled and said, that's great, next time I'll bring more people. After this period of getting along, the UAE League, who is more introverted, also got along with his teammates. The play is also getting better and better. The tense atmosphere that was originally before the game disappeared in this dinner. Moreover, at dinner that night, no one mentioned the competition, all talking about life. Curry smiled badly and looked at Lin Dong. Lin Dong, how are you and Perry? I see she's very interesting to you. It's been a long time, why haven't you been together yet? Yes. Perry has asked me many times about you. Nate echoed on the side. Lin Dong shook his head. During this time, the schedule is so tight, and I have to be busy training. I feel that I don't even have time to go home. How can I care about other things? Lin Dong spent almost all of his time in the training gym except for the competition. He was anxious to improve his strength, so it's almost night and day training. Unless there are occasional endorsements for a while, everything else is spent on basketball. Perry had been looking for him during this time and wanted to ask him out for dinner, but Lin Dong either saw it very late, or he pushed it off with training. At the moment, the game is the most important. Nate persuaded, you can't do this, you have to take care of her. Lin Dong nodded, I know, just talk a lot, eat more. And Ziyue was on the side, and when she heard this answer, she was suddenly a little lost. sure enough, they are related. That night, we ate until late, and everyone went back separately. Back home, Lin Dong sat on the sofa and opened his properties panel. Name, Lin Dong. Height, 201 centimeters. Weight, 100 kilograms. Arm span, 220 centimeters. Offense, 88 on layups, 82 on the field line, 80 on three-point range. Defense, 90 steals, 88 rebounds, 94 outside defense. Technique, pass 80, possession 85. Physical fitness, speed 94, strength 94, bounce 92, fitness 93. Skills, death wrap, dry pull jumper, lightning break, massive change of direction. Upgrade point, 30. In the later competition, Lin Dong raised all the attributes to more than 80. The possession reached 85 and the pass also reached 80, and also mentioned the layup to 88. Now Lin Dong attacks more sharply. Also because of the increase in the number of improvements, 2 skills that come with the system are obtained. One is Wade's lightning breakout, can quickly combine balls in the crowd to complete a breakthrough. Another is Iverson's drastic change of direction. These 2 skills, for breakthroughs, are simply not too easy to use. Lin Dong, who was already very fast, is now more lethal in his breakthrough. Not only that, because of the increase in breakthrough ability, shooting also gives more opportunities. In the final games of the regular season, Lin Dong can maintain an average of more than 41 points per game, and his shooting percentage is still very high. All this is not in vain for the training that he wasted during this time. The rest is to make the all-out sprint in the playoffs. Episode 136. Today is the Knicks' first game against the Celtics, and as the home Knicks, fans are already in the stands early. D'Antoni was also drawing some tactics back and forth on the tactical board, and Lin Dong and his other teammates were listening to the coach's tactical arrangements. Commentator Barkley is passionately mobilizing the emotions of all fans. The match will start in 5 minutes, and Barkley has already announced the starters for both sides. Knicks, Lin Dong, UAE, Gallinari, Curry, Dior. Celtics, Green, Walker, Dwyane, Williams, Tatum. With a whistle from the referee, the ball was passed to Curry after being held by Dior. Curry did not rush forward, but steadily carried the ball through the halftime and then stuffed it to Lin Dong when Dior's blocking. Lin Dong faced Walker's defense, just one step to break through. Walker did not expect Lin Dong's speed to be so fast, and quickly chased on the side. Dwyane has already made a block on Lin Dong's breakthrough line in front, and if Lin Dong continues to rush forward now, it will inevitably form a pincer attack by Dwyane and Walker. After Lin Dong directly distributed the ball to the UAE, he ran towards the three-point line on the left. After trying to dribble twice with his back to Williams, he felt slightly less powerful than Williams. Curry has run to the three-point line on the other side with his defenders, and now Curry and Lin Dong are ambushed at the three-point line on either side. In the middle, Dior is already standing near the free throw line. Gallinari had stepped forward and stuck. Williams was on the side of his body, and after Alan took the opportunity to turn around, he faced the defender of Gallinari and passed the ball to Lin Dong. Lin Dong made a false shooting action after receiving the ball and had already thrown off his opponent, and after taking a lateral step, he shot the three-point shot steadily. Lin Dong three-pointer. The Knicks took the lead in opening up the offensive situation, Barkley exclaimed excitedly. Lin Dong quickly retreated to his defensive half. He didn't care about his defensive object, waiting for his defensive object about 3 meters outside the three-point line. Walker dribbled the ball through halftime and handed it directly to Green of the Celtics. Green faced Gallinari's defense, forced his way to the basket, and barely shot the ball after being blocked by the UAE. Dior watched the ball spin around the basket and then grabbed it in his hand, and a long pass had been thrown to Lin Dong, who was running fast. By this time, the Celtics forwards and defenders had retired to their defensive positions, and now the court was a 2-on-1 situation. If Lin Dong breaks through, he will definitely be defended by 2 people. But in the face of such a defensive object, Lin Dong wanted to test his newly learned skills. Lin Dong stepped over Dwyane's defense with just one jump. When Lin Dong faced Williams, he picked the basket with his right hand low and directly sent the basketball into the basket. When Lin Dong faced the defense of these 2 people so boldly, without waiting for his teammates to come over, one person dared to hit the 2 people of the Celtics. According to the technical characteristics of Lin Dong in the regular season, it can be analyzed. He is very good at such low-handed basket-picking moves. Pretty, sure enough, as sure as ever. Just 2 shots 100% from the field and gave the Celtics a 0,5. Lin Dong squeezed past Dior and ran directly towards his own half, ignoring the raging anger in Dwyane's eyes. Because for Lin Dong, his opponent gave him such anger too much. All the Knicks players were very excited, and they didn't expect that the opening game was only 30 seconds, and Lin Dong had already scored 5 points in a row. The rest of the Celtics just looked at Lin Dong's back, and just chased him in the half. He had already found that Lin Dong was directly attacking their 2 teammates. This is already a common occurrence for Lin Dong, but it is tantamount to a blow to everyone in the Celtics. Let them realize that if they don't defend Lin Dong, it is likely that once the Knicks are ignited by Lin Dong's passion for everyone's morale will inevitably rise. At this time, if this attitude continues, I am afraid that the Celtics will encounter problems this time. The momentum of the opening game is good. Now it seems that Lin Dong's technique has improved again. I have been observing him just now, and his jumping steps just now are rarely used in the past passing moves. Coach D'Antoni clearly noticed Lin Dong's movement and speed. If we follow this style of play, I'm afraid that this time Lin Dong is still in the open momentum. We just need to create enough opportunities for him. As a defender, Douglas is obviously on the sidelines with a learning attitude, watching Lin Dong score 5 points in a row just now. And he is also very impressed. Episode 137. This time the Celtics are really a lot more serious, and they have a lot more patience, because they know that they have scored 5 straight points in the Knicks starting game. If they can't open the situation, they are likely to be called out directly after this ball, and all these players on the field will definitely be severely reprimanded by the coach. That's why they are very patient looking for opportunities with this ball. And Walker tried on Lin Dong several times, wanting to break through from Lin Dong. But it is a pity that Lin Dong blocked his offensive line in time, and did not let Walker succeed for 2 consecutive times, and Walker could only pass the ball to other people. After getting a pass from a teammate on the outside, Dwyane finally seized the opportunity to return a 3-point shot to the Knicks. Dwyane's goal also made everyone breathe a sigh of relief. If such patience cannot attack successfully, I am afraid that the momentum of the team at the beginning has been completely suppressed by the Knicks. So now all the Celtics people are starting to regain some confidence with this goal, and everyone is running quickly towards their own half, because they know that the Knicks guards are fast, and they suffered such a loss just now. If you continue to be careless, it is likely that both Curry and Lin Dong will instantly use the tactics of rapid attack. They broke straight through to the Celtics half, and if they still didn't have an effective defensive lineup, they would probably be breached in the first place. Especially Curry and Lin Dong. Both of them have a very high 3-point shooting percentage, and they dare not be careless. Curry dribbled the ball to Lin Dong after the half. Lin Dong did not break through directly like the last time. Gallinari came up to make a cover for Lin Dong. Lin Dong directly threw off Dwyane's defense to kill inside. When he encountered a defense on the inside, he passed the ball directly into the hands of the UAE. With the flexibility of his footsteps, the UAE directly sucked, led the 2 people to the bag, threw the ball back to Lin Dong, who had entered the 3-second zone, and then the UAE desperately squeezed to the inside line. Lin Dong received the ball and threw off the misplaced defender Williams directly towards the rebound. Could it be that Lin Dong's hand slipped? Did you make a mistake at the start of the game? Beautiful. It turned out to be an air relay. I didn't expect that the UAE league had already been ready. Lin Dong and the UAE have a really good cooperation. Lin Dong didn't even look at the position of the UAE. He knew that he would definitely appear near the basket. If someone notices the location of the UAE, I am afraid that this beautiful air relay will not be formed, and it has now reflected Lin Dong's overall view, and Lin Dong's vision must be very broad. Of course, Lin Dong saw the UAE United that was squeezing into the blue. Of course, he knows that as long as the UAE throws the ball off the basket when he enters the 3-second zone, he will definitely be able to jump up at the first time, which is already a tactic that the 2 sides often practice during training. This tactic is already a good show for both sides, and in some other matches, both sides have also made such cooperation. It was precisely because Lin Dong knew that if he continued to rush to the basket, there were already 3 players standing there under the basket, so it was impossible for him to want to make a layup like just now. And now the position of the UAE league, if you don't give him a cooperation, there are some regrets. It was for this reason that Lin Dong passed the ball to the UAE through the air relay, and sure enough, the UAE also seized the opportunity, a beautiful aerial relay, and poured the ball into the blue basket. Now the score is back to a gap of 5 points. The game quickly passed 5 minutes, in which Lin Dong has scored 10 points, and he has also obtained 5 rebounds, and now his statistics are not much different from the regular season. In the regular season, Lin Dong's data in the first and last quarters was worse than the data in the middle 2 quarters. And in the middle 2 quarters, this is when Lin Dong played his best, precisely because when he first played, Lin Dong's hands were not hot, so the data in the first quarter was slightly worse, but he could also get about 15 points. The last quarter is due to the decline in physical strength, and it is also worse than the performance of the second and third quarters, and can get about 10 points, which is also a common problem for many players. But even so, Lin Dong is much better than the other defenders in the league, because the abilities of other scoring data combined are definitely not as good as Lin Dong. Otherwise, Lin Dong would not have ranked 4th among all the players in the league, which is also a reflection of his strong comprehensive ability. Episode 139. Now that 8 minutes have passed in the game, Lin Dong has 11 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists. This is already a little better than his usual statistics. Usually, Lin Dong's score in the game, 4 minutes away, must be a little less than now. After all, it is only 2/3 of the first quarter of the game. It should be that after this round of defense, I expect the coach to start adjusting the personnel to rest. You may have to go down with Dior to rest for a while. I need to play another round to get to the time. I hope to be able to prevent this ball. That way, if we can succeed in the next attack, we can open up a 10-point gap with the Celtics, so we can rest a little more relieved. Lin Dong was talking to the UAE while running back. Yes, my physical strength is much stronger than mine in the power of the Celtics power forward just now. and every time I defend him, I need to do my best to keep him from squeezing my defense easily. When I attack, I also need to use the full strength of my cadet list when facing him to be able to open up a small space for me to play, and if I don't push him off, I can only use my steps to pass him. No matter what kind of operation, it is more physically demanding than my usual. I really didn't expect that facing such a clumsy center, in addition to using footwork, I need to go head to head with him. This guy is like a tank. Every time I hit my chest, I feel very painful. If I don't push his back with my hands every time, I'm afraid that I will directly collide with him a few times, and my body will become red. Walker dribbled to halftime and handed it to Dwyane, who had firmly jammed his offensive line when Dwyane broke through to the inside. Now Dwyane's several crotch changes and feints have no effect, and he can only give the ball to the center on the inside. The center on the inside wants to force a jump shot when facing Dior, but when Dio opened his hands, blocking his vision, he had no choice but to dribble with his back instead, trying to squeeze Dio and then turn around and shoot. But when he made these movements, a pair of hands had reached next to him, and when he was not paying attention, he took his ball away, looking at Lin Dong's back, and the Celtic center was annoyed. If all his energy had not been focused on Dior, and he wanted to open up space under Dior's defense, he would not have caused such a mistake as he is now. After Lin Dong dribbled the ball through the half, he saw that the three defenders on the other side had already stood up, and Lin Dong had no way to launch a fast attack again, so he could only dribble the ball steadily. Wait until all the Knicks players are in position before giving the ball to Curry. When Lin Dong ran to the bottom corner near the three-point line and took Dwyane with him to the three-point line, Gallinari took the initiative to make a block for Lin Dong. Lin Dong threw off a cloth and moved to the three-point line at a 45-degree angle. At this time, the UAE League, who had just received the ball, had already thrown the ball to Lin Dong, and Lin Dong only slightly adjusted the place to jump 3 points directly into the basket. Dwyane had just run to Lin Dong's side at this time, and he was still one step away from Lin Dong, and he could only reach out to interfere with Lin Dong. But unfortunately, Lin Dong's mentality was very stable and was not affected by Dwyane's movements. Celtics apply for a timeout. The Celtics coach saw that the gap had widened to 11 points, and could only urgently jump to rearrange the defense, hoping to catch up with the difference in the remaining 4 minutes or so. In this way, when the game is played in the second quarter, it will not be directly led by the Knicks, otherwise with a difference of more than 10 points in the second quarter. If the Knicks continue to pull the point difference, it will be very difficult to catch up with the point difference throughout the game. D'Antoni originally wanted to use a substitution, but now that he saw the Carthusians call a timeout, he also directly abandoned this option. Substitutes were used just after the timeout. Just now, Lin Dong's three-point shot directly stopped the game, and now the difference between the two sides is 11 points. If we analyze according to the previous average data, Lin Dong has now exceeded his average score in the first quarter of the game. From this data, we can see that Lin Dong is in good shape today, and I hope he leads the Knicks to bring us another victory. Let's look forward to watching even more exciting games after the timeout, and now let's look at the data comparison between the two sides, and interested fans can directly look up at the big screen above. While explaining the explanation, Barkley opened the version of the data that had just been collected and updated to compare according to the data analysis. Episode 140. On the large screen above the pitch, the database has data analysis and statistics of players from both sides. All fans watching the game, if interested, can also check the data of their favorite players so far through the screen. Through the data, you can already see that the Knicks' best performance is indeed as the fans have judged before. Lin Dong is far ahead of the opposing guard in terms of scoring, rebounding, and even steals. Lin Dong sat on the bench and wiped a few handfuls of sweat from the towel thrown by his teammates, drank a sip of water, and quickly gathered around D'Antoni's, because every timeout, everyone needs to concentrate on listening to the coach to arrange the next tactics during the rest process. We were very good just now. The only flaw was that we didn't control the opposing power forwards enough, although now we lost 11 points. But if you compare the individual statistics, we have 2 points less than the opponent in terms of power forwards. We have 2 more rebounds than the other side in rebounds, and then someone can sit on the floor and catch their breath, while someone with more physical strength needs to stay on the court to prevent the Celtics from coming back. Dior United and Lin Dong stay off the court for 2 minutes, and all the people on the court pay attention to protect the rebounds in front of the court to prevent the opposing players from scoring inside. Just now 80% of their points came from the inside. I don't want to see them still dunking and shooting on your heads on the inside, and all the players on the inside cheering up. D'Antoni did see just now that although the Knicks are leading in scoring, they are deficient in inside scoring, and if Lin Dong hadn't played well in the first half, I'm afraid that the difference between the two sides would definitely not have been pulled to 11 points. Now that all the players from both sides are back on the field, Dior sits on the sidelines, seizing time to regain their strength, knowing that they will need to get back on the field once the difference is closed. How do I think you are a little excited today? Except for the first 2 shots in the opening game, the rest of the shots can also see this. You didn't feel so hot after you played, but it took a few minutes to get used to it before you could open the situation. But now I can see that the first 2 goals you have hit 100% directly after you come on the field. The UAE did observe the problem of Lin Dong's feeling, and he felt that Lin Dong's mental state was also good today, and it was probably affected by this that allowed him to get the score in the whole quarter of the game, and let him finish in 8 minutes. Maybe it's better to rest. I do think today's state is quite good. In the past the first 2 shots I need to adjust and find my own feeling. But today there is no such phenomenon. Today I felt very good when I shot the first shot, especially the flexibility of my fingers. I felt as if it opened all at once. Maybe it was related to the feeling when shooting before the game. Lin Dong did feel that he seemed to be a little excited today, although he didn't know what caused it, but he seized such an opportunity well. If a player on the pitch is already in a state of excitement when he plays, of course he will feel good in both attack and defense. Even through this state of excitement, it can affect other teammates, and once other teammates see Lin Dong's mental state, they will also follow Lin Dong's excitement. Together they also played the Celtics with excitement, and it was for this reason that everyone was in the lead in the first half. The Celtics didn't even have a chance to tie the score, and with about 4 minutes to go, Lin Dong wouldn't have to play in the first quarter if the bench could consistently lead the Celtics by 10 points. Instead, he will play at the beginning of the second quarter, and if the Knicks bench does not play well, Lin Dong will return to the game when the game is about 2 minutes away as usual. This allows him to lead the players on the field to pull the score open again. Of course, there are 2 main players on the field now, and the reason is that it is impossible to put 2 defenders on the field at the same time, and let the 2 substitute defenders remain on the field. Although the Celtics are now more than 10 points behind, if the Knicks do take the opportunity when they do let 2 backup guards on the floor, they are likely to be seized by the opposing team. After all, the backup defender is much worse than the main defender in terms of ability and experience.